Want to work in Europe but can't seem to figure out how to get a work visa? Don't worry, because I've got you. In this video, I'm going to cover the 10 easiest countries in Europe to get a work visa if you're from the US. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Seppi, rhymes with Peppy, from SheHitRefresh.com. I help women age 30 and over break free from a life of routine to finally move abroad. And that's exactly what I did. Way back in 2015, when I was 35 years old, I made my own leap from Texas to Spain. It's now been about 7.5 years, and I am still here living my best life. If you're here, you're probably looking to do something quite similar. So thank you so much for tuning into my channel. On this channel, I talk about moving abroad specifically for US citizens. I'd love to invite you to like this video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future move abroad content. So today we're talking about getting a work visa in Europe. So I want to stress that getting a job in Europe as a US citizen is no easy feat. So if you want to know what your best shot is or where your best shot will be, you need to focus on the 10 countries I'm going to go through in this video. Now, if you don't see your desired country on this list, that means that it's going to be very difficult and close to impossible to get a work visa sponsorship there. But don't worry, there might be another visa that you qualify for in your dream country. And if you want to take a look at all of your other options for the 18 easiest countries to move to in Europe if you're a US citizen, then check out my digital visa guide to living in Europe. It covers over 50 visa options for Europe, and it'll go over more than just work visas. So maybe there's another solution for you. So when it comes to US citizens who have actually had success in finding a job in Europe, usually they have done so through special work visas called highly skilled visas, or they've done it through labor shortages in specific countries. So of the 10 countries that I'm going to cover today, a lot of them have these types of visas, and I'll talk a little bit about those too. So just to give you an idea of some of the industries that fall into these highly qualified or highly skilled visas or labor shortages, these are some of the industries that come up most, and sometimes it's easier to secure a work visa if you have skills in one of these industries. So that would be in tech, engineering, finance, accounting, consulting, management, research, and hospitality. Now, the list isn't limited to that, but just wanted to give you a brief overview. So before we dive into the list of the 10 easiest countries to get a work visa for Europe, I just want to give my weekly shout out. And this week's shout out goes to Alex Morgan, who commented on my video, Moving to Greece from the US. Alex says, "Thank you, Seppi, for all your hard work in putting these videos and guides together to help folks like me feel that much closer to living abroad. My husband and I did our honeymoon in Greece, Athens, Crete, and Santorini, and ever since then, it's always been at the top of our list of places to move to from the US. The fact that they now have a digital nomad visa is awesome. Now we just need to go back and check out some of the other towns that you mentioned in the video above and find out which ones we'd like to live in." Thank you so much, Alex, for your message, and I'm so happy to hear that Greece is on your radar and there's actually a viable visa option for you to move there. For anyone watching, if you're interested in getting a shout out, just drop a question or comment below, and you never know, you might be the next shout out that I give. All right, so let's dive into today's video. For anyone who has their heart set on working in Europe, here are the 10 countries that you need to focus on. So the first country on our list might come as a surprise to you, and that is the UK. So while the UK may no longer be a part of the EU, it's still a part of Europe. And with Brexit, two things have really happened here. So number one, the UK is no longer beholden to EU labor laws. And if you've watched any of my other videos, I've touched lightly on how it's difficult to get a job in the EU because countries have to do a labor market test. Essentially, before they can even look for an outside candidate, they have to make sure that there's no one in their country or in the whole EU that can do the same job. Now, the UK doesn't have to meet this requirement, but as a consequence of leaving the EU, they've actually created a skilled worker shortage. And this actually has inspired lawmakers to expand opportunities for work visas, which is a plus for you, especially if you are a US citizen. So you have a few ins to the UK here. Your ticket in is going to be through the skilled worker visa, previously known as Tier 2, or you can go through the self-sponsorship visa and global talent visa. So first, let's talk about the skilled workers visa. So for this visa, you actually have to be offered a role that meets the minimum annual salary of £25,000. And not only that, but the role has to be on a pre-approved list of roles that qualify for the skilled worker visa. But you know what? No need to worry, because there are over 8,000 jobs that are eligible for the skilled worker visa. And I'm going to drop a link below so you can take a look and see what those jobs are. But just to give you a really quick overview, things such as manufacturing, IT, musicians, tax experts, photographers, medical experts, and more are in demand in the UK. And you know what? Jobs that you wouldn't even expect fall on this list, such as florists, fitness instructors, and even window dressers are eligible. In addition, for the role having to be an approved list, you can also only work for approved companies. So again, I'm going to drop those links below so you can take a look at that. So number 2 on the list for the easiest countries to work in Europe is Ireland. So if you're looking to work in Ireland, you may just be in luck. At the moment, the country is facing labor shortages in industries such as IT, healthcare, engineering, and business. So for US citizens, your into Ireland is going to be through the Critical Skills Permit. So every so often, Ireland will release a list of industries that are in dire need of employees. Most of them are going to be in the industries I just mentioned, but there are some unique roles that are in need of talent, again, that you wouldn't think of, such as animation, art directors, sport coaches, and more. So even though Ireland is part of the EU, jobs on this Critical Skills Permit do not have to go through a labor market test. So this means that you don't have to first compete against local talent. So one of the main requirements of roles on this list is that you have to secure a position that pays at least 32,000 euros a year. Now, in addition to the Critical Skills Permit, if you're interested in becoming an accountant, Ireland has a pathway for you through the Stamp 1A visa. Now, I won't leave you hanging here. I'm going to drop a link below that goes much more in depth into finding a job in Ireland on one of these 2 pathways. The third country on our list is Germany. Germany has a strong and stable economy, leading to its robust job market. Now, while in the UK and Ireland, you may not have a language barrier, yes, in Germany, they do speak German, but there are tons of jobs out there where German is not a requirement. Now, if you don't have luck scoring a work visa in Germany, there's actually another path for you, and that is through the self-employed and freelance visa. You can learn more about this in my video on moving to Germany from the US, and you can also find detailed information in my visa guide to living in Europe. Number 4 on the list is the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is a hot spot for jobs, especially in the tech industry. So the Netherlands has a highly skilled migrant visa. And what this visa does is it allows employers to fast track residence and work applications for talented foreigners. So the main requirement is that you have to find a job that is with a government approved sponsor. Now, there are thousands of them out there, and new ones are being added to the list every week. You also have to find a job that meets the salary requirements of anywhere from around 3,600 to 5,000 euros a month, depending on your age. Of course, certain industries are going to be more in demand than others. I already mentioned the tech industry, but fields like medicine, engineering, science, agriculture, and clean energy are just some to name a few. I'll drop a link below for more information, and of course, you can find detailed visa information in my visa guide to moving to Europe. Number 5 is France. When it comes to work visas for France, there's actually a few great options. France offers a talent passport, French tech visa, and self-employment visa. So let's start with the talent passport. So this is a type of highly skilled visa or highly qualified visa for individuals who have the potential to make a significant contribution to the French economy. And I use air quotes there because this is kind of nebulous. We don't really actually know what the significant contribution actually means. But what we do know is that there are 10 categories that fall under this offering. So I'll just list some of them here, and that is a skilled recent graduate, an employee on assignment in France, a researcher or scientist, and an economic or financial investor. But there are others as well. Next is the French tech visa. So technically this visa falls under the umbrella of the talent passport that I just talked about. And so what this visa does is that it provides a fast track to non-EU tech employees, investors, and founders. So whether you're looking for a job in tech, or maybe you have a great idea that you want to launch, or you have a lump sum of money that you'd like to invest, this is going to be one of the quickest visas to get you into France. And last is the self-employment visa. So this is an option for freelancers and small business owners who want to work in the French market. As I've mentioned before, you can find more information on all of these visas in my visa guide to living in Europe. You can find the link below. Number 6 is Portugal. So loads of Americans are moving to Portugal on the country's D7 visa, as well as the new digital nomad visa. However, if you're looking to move to Portugal for work, then take a look at the Portuguese highly skilled work permit. So these are just some of the positions that are considered highly skilled in Portugal. And that is executives, managers, directors, engineers, scientists, health professionals, teachers, and legal experts. So a downside here in Portugal is that open roles must be listed publicly for 1 month before they can be offered to non-EU citizens or residents. So this means that some of the best roles may never even reach your radar because they've been filled before the month comes up. Something to note about Portugal is that the salaries are going to be a lot lower than the other countries that we've been talking about. And just to give you an idea, for an example, the average executive salary is going to be about 3,700 euros a month. So if you're in the tech industry, Portugal actually has a tech visa, and this allows innovative companies to hire highly qualified candidates from around the world. Again, you can learn more about all of these visas, including the D7 and the digital nomad visa I mentioned, in my visa guide to living in Europe. Number 7 on the list is the Czech Republic. So if Eastern Europe is more your cup of tea, or rather your pint of beer, then the Czech Republic is going to be your best bet. Most US citizens who are living and working in the Czech Republic are on something called the Živno visa. So the Živno visa is essentially a self-employed visa that is geared towards freelancers. Now, not all roles are going to qualify, so you're going to have to meet one of the many classifications. Teaching English is actually quite popular, and if you have teaching qualifications, this actually might be a really easy path to get into Eastern Europe for you. Other industries that are going to meet the requirements are going to be industries like IT and the arts. I'll drop a link below for more information. But similar to Portugal, I do want to point out that the Czech Republic is going to have a below average salary for Europe. The average monthly salary starts at around 1,650 euros a month. Number 8 on the list is Switzerland. Like the UK, Switzerland is not part of the EU, but it is part of the Schengen zone. And so that means that most Europeans can work in Switzerland without needing to obtain a work visa, making it harder for you to have a competitive edge over the local labor market in Europe. However, there is some good news. So when it comes to highly skilled individuals and industries that are facing a skill shortage, companies can actually skip the labor market test. Now, saying that, Switzerland's work permit quotas only allow for a small amount of permits to be issued every year. So let's talk about some of those skill shortage occupations. Some of those that fall under this list are executives, engineers, scientists, healthcare professionals, and university professors. In addition to those sectors, if you have a background in finance or pharmaceuticals, those are very highly skilled roles that are sought after. So the challenge to getting hired in Switzerland is that it's a very competitive market. So pretty much everyone who is seeking these types of jobs in Switzerland, wherever they are from in the world, they're going to speak English. So it really helps your application and your candidacy to speak the local language of the canton that you're looking for work in, but just having knowledge of languages in general is a big plus. But hey, if you are lucky enough to score a job in Switzerland, just know that you are going to be very well compensated, because employees in Switzerland are among the highest paid employees in the whole world. If you'd like to learn more about this visa and other visas for Switzerland, check out my visa guide to living in Europe. Number 9 on the list is Denmark. So Denmark actually has some of the toughest immigration policies, making it extremely difficult for foreigners to get hired here. But your one way into the Danish labor market might be through their positive list for skilled workers. So the positive list for skilled workers is actually a list of skilled professions in Denmark that are facing a shortage of qualified professionals. So we've talked about shortages in other countries, so some of the industries will be similar in Denmark, such as engineering and science. However, Americans can actually find a way on this positive list for skilled workers in jobs that you might not think would qualify. And that can be as a chef, a landscaper, cabinet maker, office assistant, and more. So I'm gonna drop a link to the full jobs list so that you can take a look, and just know that this list is updated twice a year in January and in July. So if you're worried about the language or that you need to know Danish to work in Denmark, you'll be happy to know that Denmark has one of the highest English fluency rates in the world for non-English speaking countries. And also because Denmark is so small, a ton of its work is done with neighboring countries and on a global scale. All right, so we've actually come to number 10 on our list, but I have a bonus for you, so sit tight after this one. And number 10 is Finland. So Finland is actually another very difficult labor market to break into if you're from the US. And that's because number one, work visa sponsorships are difficult to come by. And number two, Finnish speakers are preferred. However, there is hope because very recently, Finland launched its fast-track residence permit. So this has created a pathway that makes it much easier for foreigners to get hired here. The fast track, as its name implies, is the fastest way to get a work visa in Finland, and it can actually take as little as 2 weeks to get approved. So what positions qualify for this visa? Well, that list is a little bit vague, but it includes specialists, entrepreneurs, and top or middle management. I'm gonna drop a link below where you can find more information about Finland's fast-track residence permit. So while this was just supposed to be a list of 10 European countries where you have a chance of getting a work visa, I'm actually gonna add one bonus one here. So number 11 is Malta. So Malta has become a playground for the wealthy. And if you want to work here, you're going to have skills in specific high-yielding sectors. So if you want to work in Malta, you're going to have to do that through the highly qualified person's visa. Now, this visa wants to fill the gaps for labor shortages in the financial, gaming, aviation, and assisted reproduction sectors. So these are very niche sectors, and most roles that qualify are going to be at the C-suite level. They're also going to have to meet a minimum annual salary requirement of 88,000 euros. So this visa isn't for everyone, but if you'd like to learn more, I'm going to drop a link below. And if you'd like to live in Malta but don't qualify for this visa, be sure to check out my visa guide to living in Europe as I showcase other visas that are more viable for someone who wants to live on this beautiful island. All right, and that is it. I hope you found this video helpful. And remember, while Europe isn't an easy labor market for Americans to break into, there are plenty of opportunities for skilled workers to find jobs there. Now, if you need even more resources to help you with your move abroad and you have your eyes set on Europe, check out my digital book, I'm Outta Here, An American's Ultimate Visa Guide to Living in Europe. You're gonna find the 18 easiest countries to move to in Europe based on viable visa options, and you're gonna find over 50 visas included in this guide. If you'd like to work with me, we can work together in a number of ways, so just check below. And if you're a woman age 30 and over, I'd love for you to join our free Facebook community where you'll meet thousands of other like-minded women and find tons of inspiration, resources, and support to help you with your own move abroad. And last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future move abroad content.